is eWeekly, Eastern Michigan University's campus news. This week we have news on the sanctions of the Student Center sit-in, the recent fire in Phelps Hall, and dog adoption at EMU basketball games. Catch a new edition of eWalking that's all about the Oscars. Stay tuned because this is eWeekly.
Hi, remember us? It's been a while. We haven't been able to say hi and welcome to eWeekly in a while, but without any more hesitation, hi and welcome to eWeekly. I'm David Pierce Anderson.
And I'm Sarah Poderacki. We got lost in the everyday chaos of life and showbiz. We apologize for our absence, but we're back and here to stay consistently. We've got news from around campus and also stories from earlier in the semester.
Hey, I don't know if we missed anything, but wasn't there an inauguration or something while we were gone?
You know what, David? Let's not talk about that right now. Let's hear the news. What do you got?
Well, it's been over 1,000 days since the Flint water crisis began back in 2014, and unbelievably, not everyone in Flint has access to clean drinking water. If you thought that's the worst of it, just wait. The problem may have peaked after the Water Relief Act expired this week. Governor Snyder signed the Water Relief Act back in early 2016 in order to lower the cost of water to residences and businesses within city boundaries. However, the state had decided not to renew the act despite a plea from city officials who say their residences pay 3 times more for their water than those with clean water from surrounding cities. Right now, about 800 homes have had their pipes replaced, but it is estimated to take up to 3 more years to replace pipes in every affected home. The state responded by saying the water now meets the minimum EPA requirements for safe water, but recommended the use of filtered water where pipes have been replaced.
Last semester, we spoke a lot about the sanctions issued against the students that were involved in the Student Center sit-in in response to the racist vandalism on campus. The first incident of graffiti occurred back on September 20th, with the most recent reported occurrence being October 30th. Finally, on the morning of February 2nd, Eastern dismissed the sanctions. This comes after months of students speaking out against the sanctions, as well as protests and displays of solidarity throughout the students' hearings. Student leaders spoke out in a prepared statement saying, "We understand that the conduct process needed to be completed, and we applaud President Smith's decision to drop the charges so that we as a student body can continue to move forward in our fight to end institutionalized racism." The student leaders expressed looking forward to working with administration to enhance Easter's inclusiveness. President Smith vowed to continue their investigation into the person or persons involved in the racist vandalism.
"We didn't start the fire," says EMU freshman. Early on Tuesday morning, a fire was started in the lounge of Phelps Hall on campus's north side. Around 1:30 in the morning, the fire alarm was pulled and about 250 residents were evacuated from the building. Students were not allowed back into Phelps until 4 hours later when the sun was finally coming back up. Even then, not all were let back in. Students were sleeping in cars and on the ground outside, while some were relocated for the time being. This wasn't the first time the fire department was called to the first-year center that day also. Walton and Putnam, which are immediately next door to Phelps and cellars connected by the eateries, were evacuated for a small situation around 9 p.m. Monday evening. They were let back into the rooms in a matter of minutes. As for the early morning fire, investigations are still going on to determine what was the cause of the blaze. One student was rescued through his window and is being treated for smoke inhalation.
President Trump's executive order on travel has been affecting many people's lives, including people close to home. Eastern Michigan students are affected and worried about the president's actions. The ban may have an impact on immigration benefits such as eligibility for practical training after graduation. EMU senior Layali Al-Sada, who is originally from Yemen, and her family still lives there. She said, "It is very difficult to process the concept that there is a huge chance I may never actually get to see my family again." The university is offering many resources to students who are being affected by the ban. The EMU Office of International Students is offering referrals to CAPS as well as an open forum for the discussion of the issues that international students may be facing. Additionally, EMU can refer students to a computer program called ISSP, where students can receive advice in their native language. Al-Sada calls out to everyone affected to stand together, saying, "If we are speaking over each other, it's not going to do anything compared to if we are speaking in unison."
Those are some really wise words. We should definitely keep that in mind. We're going to be right back with more news after a short break.
In today's cyber world, the number of passwords you have to remember can be overwhelming. While it may be tempting to reuse the same passwords, or store them in a not-so-safe place. In doing so, you're putting your online accounts and data in danger of being compromised. The Eagle security package includes LastPass, an encrypted online password vault that can store all your usernames, passwords, and other personal information in one location. LastPass secures your login credentials using one master password, the last password you'll have to remember. Not only does LastPass store your login credentials, but it can automatically fill them in when you're logging into trusted websites. LastPass can also aid in the creation of strong, unique passwords and secure sensitive data such as addresses, credit cards, and personal notes. Since LastPass is encrypted and protected in the cloud, it's accessible wherever you are, through the LastPass website, a web browser extension, or the mobile app. LastPass makes password security easy. For more information about LastPass, visit tiny.emich.edu/LastPass.
We haven't gone anywhere, and we're glad you haven't either. David's got some more news from earlier this year.
So, about a month ago, Poetry Society celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day with the 15th annual event of The Color of Drums. This event was held in Pease Auditorium on January 13th. The Poetry Society performed multiple skits revolving around the theme, The American Daydream. With a live DJ, a host, and a co-host, the event showcased the combination of poetry and live skits. There was a serious tone throughout the acts, but the host kept it softer in between skits as they cracked some jokes. The skits performed were Language of the Unheard, Silent Matters, A Threat to Justice Everywhere, A House Divided, A Burden to Bear, and Nothing to Lose. EMU prides themselves on their creative and powerful messages. This creative performance was also had a powerful meaning to bring light to the problems in the Black student community.
The Convocation Center was completely full last Saturday. Full of cats and dogs, that is. Last Day Dog Rescue, a volunteer rescue organization from Livonia, held an adoption event called Adopt a Pet Day. This furry function took place right before the Eastern Michigan's men's and women's basketball doubleheader. If that doesn't make you say, "aw," then hopefully this will. Last Day Dog Rescue takes pets from kill shelters right before they're euthanized and finds them their forever homes. Lots of people poured into the convo to meet the cats and dogs, and many of them fell in love and asked to foster and volunteer. EMU Assistant Athletics Director for Marketing, Tony Orlando, said, "What better Saturday event can you go to than come out and pet some dogs, maybe volunteer and adopt, and then go catch a great Division I basketball game?" This adoption event was a great way for the university to help the community. Last Day Dog Rescue has many adoption events planned for the future, so keep your eyes peeled.
That sounds adorable. Well, coming up, we'll welcome a new face to the E-Weekly desk. Derica Bennett will fill us in on the latest in Eagle sports.
But first, Jillian Seach is here with Seach's Scoop. Take it away, Jillian.
Thanks, Sarah. The Oscars are Hollywood's biggest night of the year. However, there was something missing at Sunday night's Oscars: Michigan. Not only were none of the nominated films made in the Great Lakes state, but very few films of any kind were made here in the past couple years. I decided to take a look as to why our once thriving film industry in Michigan has suddenly taken a nosedive. For a few brief years, starting in 2008, Michigan was the starring role in its own movie. The state started handing out tax incentives to lure Hollywood movie makers to our state, and it worked, for a while. Hits like Real Steel, Gran Torino, and Batman vs. Superman were all shot in Michigan. However, in 2015, Governor Snyder proposed profound cuts in the incentive program, arguing the movie money just didn't add up. Republican lawmakers took the governor's proposal and cut it even more, essentially bringing Michigan's film industry to a halt. Some Republican lawmakers argue, however, that the program wasn't installed long enough to see the positive long-term financial effects it would have for the state. Without incentives, Michigan is not able to compete against such states as Georgia that have larger incentives. However, in the years since the cuts, Michigan filmmakers' fortunes have begun to turn around again. Who knows, we might just see a sequel to Michigan's once thriving movie industry. And, in the spirit of films and the Oscars, David Pierce Anderson took to the streets of EMU to see what students thought of the Oscars this past Sunday. He has trivia and more in this e-walking. Take a look.
I'm David Pierce Anderson. I'm here at the Eastern Michigan Students Center. Hollywood Super Bowl has wrapped up, the Oscars. While there were no game-winning comeback touchdowns, there was a fumble. I'm here at Eastern Michigan to see if the students know their stuff about the Golden Man Oscar. We are here with a piano and Courtney. We're here with Catherine to test her knowledge about the Oscars and see what she thought. Catherine, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right. So did you watch the Oscars this year?
I did.
What did you think?
It was definitely interesting, especially the end.
We're here with Cheryl. She has graciously agreed to test her knowledge about the Oscars. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
What did you think of what you saw?
Well, they kind of messed up on the Oscars and who they thought won and who actually won.
It was kind of crazy. It's like the second time that's happened like recently though, so.
Right, Steve Harvey with Miss America gave it to the wrong one.
Yeah, that was bad.
Hi, we're here with Cameron to see if he knows his stuff about the Oscars. Hi, Cameron, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there. So first of all, did you even watch the Oscars this year?
I only watched an interesting bit about a mess up with the contestants and who had won. So La La Land had supposedly won, and then they didn't.
Wow, that is news to me. I did not hear about that. We're here with,
Girl in Hat.
and we are talking about the Oscars. So, Girl in Hat, did you even watch the Oscars?
Yeah.
We're going to test your Oscar knowledge now. This might go back a little bit, historical value, but we'll see. I'll give you some multiple choice options too, make it a little easier. What was the first year of the Oscars? When were they founded? 1917, 1929, 1943, or 1960?
I'm gonna go with, was it 1915? Was that the first one?
1917.
1917?
I'm thinking 1917 or 1929. So the TV wasn't even out yet. So
1960?
I don't think it would start. I'll say 1960.
Would that be 1943?
sure.
Well, you're wrong.
1929.
Yeah.
I totally guessed.
What was the first animated film to be nominated for Best Picture? Snow White, Toy Story 3, The Little Mermaid, or Beauty and the Beast?
Wait, what were the options?
Snow White.
Beauty and the Beast?
Snow White.
It's Beauty and the Beast.
Good call. You got that one.
Beauty and the Beast.
Good answer. That's another good one. Yep. Beauty and the Beast was the first animated.
Little Mermaid.
Wrong again. Out of these actors, who doesn't have an Oscar? Nicolas Cage, Peter Capaldi, Tom Cruise, or Matt McConaughey? Matthew McConaughey, as some people call him.
I had to think of who Matt McConaughey was.
Peter, whatever his last name was.
You would think so, because you don't know him.
Exactly.
You're wrong.
Peter.
Matthew McConaughey?
All right. No, that's not him.
Tom Cruise.
Good call. You got that one. I was surprised to hear that. I've heard he's pretty good. Yeah. Who has won the most Oscars? Edith Head, Walt Disney, Meryl Streep, or Jack Nicholson?
I'll say Meryl Streep.
Is it Meryl Streep?
Meryl Streep.
Wrong again.
Okay, she got shafted at the Oscars and now she doesn't have the most. What is this?
Well, if she got shafted at the Oscars, then that would explain why she doesn't have the most.
Yeah, but Emma Stone won. That doesn't explain anything.
It's got to be Walt Disney.
You're right. He ran away with it. He's 26. So what film has won the most Oscars? This will be the last question. Ben-Hur, All About Eve, Titanic, or Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King?
I think it's Titanic.
Titanic?
It's a good guess.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Lord of the Rings.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You've earned a 33% on that question alone.
What?
Titanic.
Is that your final answer?
It's the only one I've seen, so.
Well, you are a third of the way correct.
All right, woo!
Lord of the Rings?
There we go. 2/3. All right, got one more. 50-50.
The first one.
There you go. Ben-Hur, yeah. If we can, though, we're going to see if you recognize any of these as the best picture. Our lovely Julia is here to see if to hold the sign up, actually. Pick, if any, what you think. Who won best picture? Walk us through what you're thinking.
Well, not La La Land.
They won for like a minute.
I think The Big Short, maybe.
Definitely not Suicide Squad. The Shining. Citizen Kane. Oh, gosh. I'm going to say Fight Club, Citizen Kane.
Maybe The Avengers? People tend to like those movies.
Well, you did good with the note cards, but all those are wrong. Surprisingly, I thought Wizard of Oz would have won. How Green Was My Valley, and Tom Jones are the only two winners. Have you heard of either one of those?
I've not actually, so I didn't guess them.
Neither have I, yeah. How Great Was My Valley beat out Citizen Kane? That's pretty shocking. What do you think?
Very beautiful.
Thank you. And that was what EMU knows about the Oscars. Hopefully you learned something too. I learned EMU doesn't know that much about the Oscars. Who knows, maybe someday you'll see me on the silver screen. I already have silver hairs. David Pierce out. It's a rental.
If you haven't seen those flicks yet, make sure you go check them out and give them a well-deserved watch.
Be sure, don't fence yourself in from the outside world. Come hell or high water, your arrival time at the theater must be early. Tickets are flying off the shelves. We have sports next.
Good afternoon, Eagles. I'm Derek Bennett, and I'm excited to be here with the E-Weekly crew. This is Eagle Sports Insider Sprint Edition. The Eastern Michigan University's men's basketball team snapped a 7-game losing streak this past Saturday. They knocked off Northern Illinois University at the Convention Center. EMU led by as many as 21 in the match en route to defeating the Huskies by a score of 84-68. The Eagles were hot on both ends of the floor. Eastern Michigan shot 49.1% from the floor and 37.5% from beyond the arc. Additionally, they were 21 of 28 from the charity stripe, good for 75%. The Eagles also picked up NIU's pocket on 10 occasions. The Eagles are 14-15 overall this season and 6-10 in the MAC. Their next game will be up against Toledo University on March 3rd at the Convocation Center at 7 p.m. The women's team, however, couldn't compete the NIU sweep during last Saturday's doubleheader. The Eagles suffered their 8th loss in a row while the NIU Huskies won their 12th Mid-American Conference game this season. The girls weren't able to recover from their slow start after being outscored 18-8 in the first quarter. The rest of the game remained even as EMU fell 81-71. Phyllis Webb led both sides in the scoring category. The 5'9" senior had a 31-point game against the Huskies. Courtney Woods led NIU with 22 points, 18 of which came from the three-point land. EMU's Achilles heel was their inability to hold onto the basketball. They coughed it up a total of 19 times, leading the 19 NIU points. EMU falls to 6 and 22 on the season, and a dismissal 1 and 15 in the MAC action. NIU improves to 19-8 overall with a strong MAC record of 12-14. The EMU women's team will be going to battle later tonight against Ball State. The boys of summer are back. The Eastern Michigan University basketball team are 10 games underway in the 10 new 2017 campaign. However, they aren't off to the start they were hoping for. Down in Florida, the Eagles hold a 2-8 record on the young season. In their latest loss, they couldn't overcome an early deficit in a 15-4 loss to the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee on Monday, February 27th at the Rustmat Invite at Chain of Lakes Park. The Panthers, now 4-3, tallied 9 runs in the first 3 innings to put the game out of reach. EMU did all of its damage in the 5th inning, scoring 4 runs. Senior Jeremy Stidham notched a 2-for-4 day with his first triple of the season and runs scored. Sophomore Robert Icabelli also tallied the first 2 RBIs of his EMU career on a 2-run pitch hit single in the 5th frame. On February 26th, the Eastern Michigan University softball team swept its final 2 games of a 12-game stint in Florida. EMU rode an early lead their way to a 4-3 win over Stony Brook University. Trulio went the distance, striking out 4 and allowing just 6 hits. Trulio garnered early run support after opening the game with a 1-2-3 inning as senior Taylor Wagner put a 2-0 offering over the center field fence. After Trulio fanned back-to-back batters in the second, Craig Schauser's sacrifice fly brought a junior Angel Shilk home from third. Stony Brook got 1 back in the third, capitalizing on an EMU miscue to make the score 2-1 in favor of the Eagles, with the tying run standing on third. Trulio buckled down and induced the game-ending ground route to notch her 3rd win of the season. In the second game, the Eagles kept it going with Trulio. Trulio pitched a 1-2-3-7 to put the Eagles in position for the late game heroics with the heart of the order coming to the plate. Despite a leadoff single by the Almos, EMU could not push across the run, sending the game to the extras. Giving Eastern the 4-5 victory, the Eagles will take the next weekend off to head to California the following weekend, March 9th through the 11th, for the Louisville Slugger Invitational, hosted by Long Beach State University, before walking off in extras against the University of Detroit Mercy 5-4. And that's all for the Eagle Sports Insider Sprint Edition. I'm Derica Bennett. But we're not just done yet, though. Julian Seach is here with the campus happenings and Eagle Encounter after the break.
Are you an EMU student interested in getting a first-hand experience working at a radio station? Well, say no more. EMU offers a class through Eagle Radio that will thoroughly prepare you for a real-life experience. But first, you have to register for the class. Pick a date and a time slot. Then the world is yours. Eagle Radio allows you to be fully independent and customize your own show. Have real conversations about the news, celebrity gossip, update listeners about the weather, play a trivia game. It's your show. You're free to name your show whatever you want and play any edited music of your choice. If you love having heated debates and you feel your words need to be heard, then Eagle Radio is just for you.
It's time for Eagle Encounters. Jillian Seach is with us to let you know what you can do around campus this weekend. What's up, Jillian?
Thanks again, David. Here's what you can do around campus this weekend. This Friday, March 3rd, Ticket to Success Summer Jobs across the U.S. Career Fair will be holding a free event from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Student Center Ballroom. This is a great time to speak with potential employers about available jobs over the summer. Also on Friday, you can join the men's basketball team at the Convo as they take on Toledo at 7 p.m. The team will wear special autism awareness uniforms for senior night. The jerseys will be in an auction with proceeds benefiting the Autism Collaborative Center on campus. Admission is free for EMU students. If theater is more your style, the EMU Theater Department presents The Butterfly at 7 p.m. in the Sponberg Theater on the 3rd. The Butterfly is a staged reading of a wondrous Persian fable of survival, bravery, and sacrifice. Cost is $7 and the event is LBC approved. For tickets, go to emich.edu/EMUTix or call 734-487-2282 or visit the Quirk Theater. At 7:30, Pease Auditorium will be hosting the EMU Choir as they return home after touring the U.S. The event is free and open to the public. This event is also LBC approved. Also on Friday, you can enjoy a free showing of the movie Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, with showings at 8 and 10:30 p.m. in the Student Center Auditorium. The movie entails the adventures of writer Newt Scamander in New York's secret community of witches and wizards 70 years before Harry Potter reads his book in school. On Saturday, the EMU Theater Department will once again present The Butterfly at 7 p.m. An encore showing will be presented at 2 p.m. on Sunday. That's all for me. A jam-packed weekend is in store, especially on Friday. Hope to see you around campus.
I'll for sure look into some of that. Thank you very much, Jillian. And that just about does it here at EE Weekly. We'll try our best to get you another show before 2018.
If the television gods are on our side, that is. All I know is it feels good to get back to bringing you the news around town.
If you like what you see, be sure to search ETV at EMU on YouTube. You can check out this show and ETV's other shows on the page. We've built quite the catalog. That's all for today. I'm David Pierce Anderson.
And I'm Sarah Potteracki. Thanks for tuning in. For all of us here at E! Weekly, have a nice week.